Well guys, welcome. Today we're going to install a 3060 Ti MSI gaming trio. Cost like $820 at Micro Center. That's including tax. And we're just going to go ahead and install this. So I have GPU risers, gpurisers.com, and those, I'll put a link for their website in the description. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to shut this off. To do so, I have this here. Well, if you have the button, you could do it either way. You could turn off the power supply or this. So right now it's running HiveOS. So I'm not sure if that'll work on Windows or not, but and we'll just wait for this to turn off for a little bit, and then we'll come back and we'll slip it on the riser here. Something I noticed about this card, and this is a 3060 Ti, if I can get this to focus, you'll see those thermal pads between the back plate and the PCB, which is kind of surprising. This is a plastic PCB, I think. Let's check. Yeah, that's plastic. But I don't know much about it, so you guys probably could tell me what's going on with that. I do see it in a couple different areas, but that's all I wanted to show. Before we begin, I want to show you what these risers are. They're meant to transfer the PCIe on the motherboard to a 16x 16 lane riser. So we'll show you how to plug in the power up here, the data cable, and this is another power option. You could just plug it in here or there. And this is a Molex power. If you have to use that, I suggest you look online for a chart. There is one online that says, like, I think it's like 150 watts you can supply on one Molex line. These can draw up to 75, I've heard, so typically they're probably around the 20s when they're powered on and have a GPU in them. So we'll go ahead and jump to the next step here. Okay guys, so I'm just trying to get these longer cables. I have long ones and short ones. I'm going to need 2 long ones and a short one. And as you see, this is where we're going to plug them in. So, into those white deals there. What I want to show you guys is how to put on a PCIe riser. If I can find the PCB here. So you'll see the tooth there, the tooth there, opposite side of the USB, and then you're just gonna, I like to work it in this way and then click it in towards that end, and it should snap. You'll hear it kind of click and this goes up. So that's how you do that. We're gonna plug those two in. I got the PCIe riser power, or the power to the riser already, which is just another 6-pin. You don't need to use the 8 end, just 6. But on these we're gonna need 2 8s, so can't do that with one hand. So I'll see you in a minute. What we did was I didn't have to use the server power supply. That was the one with all the yellow cords coming out. You can buy those on a website I'll leave in the link below. This one is 900 watts. They go up to 2400 watts that require 240 volt power. And instead of standard 120 volt. So I'll leave a link for those. But I was already getting pretty much to the max on that. So I was fortunate to have I have a 1300 watt power supply from EVGA. I got that on eBay. It was just kind of a rare find, but if you find them, they're a good brand. EVGA 1300, I think it's G2 or something, G2. So before you start it up here, when everything's all in, you want to make sure these are snug. Double check these, because if they're loose, you can get a fire, you can burn stuff and fry things, so you don't want to do that. Forewarning. And everything's in, so we're just gonna power on. I think everything's powered on. Doesn't look like it though, so I'm not sure what it is. Oh, I turned off the power supply here. So in the case when you have a server power supply and a power supply, you want to always turn on the server power supply first, because it boots. You want it to boot before the motherboard does, before the system post, because all the GPUs connected to the power supply will not post with the system because they booted after the system post. So if you do it before, I'm trying to find the button back here. There's a button on the breakout board that powers it on, so I found it. And you'll see a couple cards come on, because only a couple of them are hooked up, usually the yellow ones. So once you get that on, we're going to flip the switch on this, and I have an automatic boot, so once it receives power, it comes on. And we should see it post in Hive, if all went well. You can always have a lot of fun troubleshooting stuff like this, so we just give it a sec here. I got hook up a, oh, it is hooked up. So this is what HiveOS looks like when you get it going. I'll leave a link for them if you're interested. It's an alternative to Windows. It's a specialized operating system, Linux based, that works on I don't know, it's just similar to a Linux distribution, but it's all about mining, and it's centered with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So if you look it up, HiveOS, you can install it. It's got, look up some YouTube videos, and so you can really see how to install it. It's kind of difficult, but at the same time it's not. So it can be an issue sometimes, but you'll see. Otherwise, guys, I think that's it. you guys want to see a hash rate, we can wait a second. So I don't even know which one it is. It's either the top one or the bottom. Not totally sure. But, oh sorry, steady hand. Usually takes a minute here. We gotta load up all the DAGs and the kernels. Let me know if you know what those are. I don't know what a DAG is, or I kind of know what a DAG is, but not the kernel. So 50. So it looks like the power's down and probably needs some fine tuning in the software. So I'll go ahead and do that. This is exciting. I'll get to show you what it looks like here. So I'll take you back to the beginning. When you log in HiveOS.farm, you'll have to set up a account, and you'll have the area down here where you set up a farm, which is just your rig, and you'll see it pop up here, and this will be okay. So that was your farm. You could have multiple rigs in a farm. This is my rig, and here are the GPUs. So we're going to look at the clocks for, this is the one that I just installed, 50 mega hash, 105 watts. And if we look at my other 3060 Ti, it's 70, negative 502, and 2550. So we need to change the negative 502, and what's the power? So I wonder why it's so low, but 130, maybe this, we'll try that, minus 502. And power limit, they don't really go over 120, but I put 115 because I like to keep them right in that spot. So this takes a while in Hive for this to update, so we're going to give it a sec here. If you want to know what all this stuff is, so there's a flight sheet, which is all about setting up your, it's basically like if you were to have a file full of your all your wallets that you set up, all your mining pools that you're mining from, and all the coins that you're mining, and you can construct different variations of each. You could have I'm mining Ethereum to my BlockFi Ethereum wallet, and I'm on the HiveOn pool using the T-Rex miner. So that's kind of complicated, I know. But if you start just doing a little research, finding out what each one of these things are, you'll get there. Just watch YouTube videos. That's how I learned. But that's what it's called, the flight sheet. Overclocking, I don't use that page much. Tuning, I don't use that much. But it's really complicated looking at it all. But once you use it, I promise you, you'll see the simplicity in it. And you really don't use much. There's a lot of stuff here that is not touched. So so we're at 61. That's cool. Or 59. What's this one about? Okay, that must be the new one. No, I don't know. Either way, 59.95. I wish it was a little higher, but it might go up. I don't know. Let's see if I'm capping the. It might be. We'll do 120, just in case we might be hitting the limiter there. So 120, 2550 on the memory. If you go to popular presets, it gives you all these presets, and you can try them out. Like the one that I have is closer to like somewhere in between here. It's like a 1400. I'm sorry, negative 502, 2600. I'm at 2550. And then 130. So that's about the closest one to mine. But you can search through all these. Config. Alright, that looks good. Keep your fans at 70, guys. It's my personal opinion. Anything higher, you're just overworking them for that kind of time that you're using the card. So, just my opinion. Many people do over 70. 70 is a safe one for me. 58.6. Why is that guy so low? That's for another story. Oh, I know why. Because it changed this. I had absolute clock. So whenever you add a card in Hive, I've had the issue. It shifts around all your clocks. It will just randomly assort them. It's almost like they're place markers, and when you put one in, it just like assigns the card before it or something. I don't know. It's very confusing, but I'll just remind you guys to look out for that. When you add a card, there could be a problem. Alright, that's not good. What's that all about? See, it did shift these around, I think. See, 130. That should be at 240. And I think that's right. I don't even know anymore. Let me check. I think people put it 1070, 1060, nothing at 1100. So I'm just going to go back to 1060. Oops. 1060, I'm talking about the absolute memory core clock. So once you go over anything, like if you see here, if I go negative 502, it remains in the core clock. It's like standard clock. But once you go over, I don't know, what is it, 1,000? You could have to do some research on this. I don't know why it's called, but absolute core clock. They just added it in the update, so supposedly it lowers the amount of wattage used, but maintains the same hash rate. So you want to do these if you can. I've had a card where it doesn't work as good as just putting in negative 502 instead of 1100, so I was stuck with the negative 502 instead of going to the absolute apply. Alright, we should just see that change. Should see that one change, but anyways, guys, that's all. Thanks for sticking around. Looks like we got it up and going. I'll have some more videos hopefully in the future. Yeah, so thanks, guys. Hope you have a great night, day, and peace out.